So I was going to come on here and say that I'd had a productive morning, but that would have been lying because I was late taking medication and it took me a while to get my butt in gear, to be honest. So a few things have happened this morning, other than the usual. I had about a 3.5 hour conversation with my mum on the phone, which isn't unusual for us, but I had a 3.5 hour conversation with my mum. And then I was on Facebook talking to the EDS support group on there, because when I was diagnosed with hEDS, they told me I was diagnosed by a rheumatology doctor, and they told me that my signs showed that I was also showing symptoms of the classical type. But the reason I saw the rheumatologist and not an EDS specialist, because people are going to be asking, is because they did a blood test at me at the doctor's because of the pain I was in, and my rheumatoid factor was up. So they wanted to send me to rheumatology to basically see whether I had arthritis, I guess. Anyway, I didn't. He ruled all that out. But he did a head to toe body analysis of me, and he did find out that my Baton scale was 9/9. My skin was stretchy. I bruised easily and so on. And we sat down and we had an in-depth conversation. And he basically asked me, did I know what EDS was? I, at the time, was currently friends with somebody who actually had EDS. And I'm not friends with them anymore, but I did originally have a friend that had EDS, so I had heard of it, but I didn't think anything about me having it. And he said, you're positive for EDS. He said, however, you are showing signs of classical type. He said, but I'm a rheumatologist and I can't make that diagnosis. But I would for sure say you definitely got hypermobility type. So I was like, okay, fine. So I went off, and the one thing he said to me before I left was, because he knew that I had a son and a daughter that both were hypermobile positive, he basically said that if I wanted to find out for sure if I had classical or not, I would be better to see the diagnostic centre and get the doctor to, my GP, to refer me to the diagnostic centre, and I did. However, because I don't know my family history, and because I'm adopted, and because of the fact that the rheumatologist had already diagnosed me with hEDS, the diagnostic centre basically said unless I had the more severe type, like vascular, then they would not see me, which was unfortunate. So I was talking to people on Facebook this morning with regards to it, because I have a supraventricular tachycardia with my heart anyway, and I have other issues going on with my heart at the moment. And I wanted to basically ask whether it would coincide, because I know there's a lot of heart issues and heart complications with people with classical EDS as well as vascular, but definitely with classical EDS as well. And because I bruise easily, like this bruise here on my neck was from the other day, when I was doing the Q&A answer, Q&A questions for you, for the EDS challenge, and I stretched my skin. It caused bruising on my neck. I mark super easily and I bruise super easily from anything, whether it just be stretching my skin, whether it be a plaster on my arm, whether it be an ECG patch on my arm, and it's been noted by the ambulance crews and doctors and my mum and a few other people. So I mark super easily as well. So I was basically asking their advice on whether I should push genetic testing, especially with what's going on with Molly and the fact that Thomas is also hypermobile. So it came back that they said that it probably would be better for me to do that. Well, rather, one person did, because I was only talking to the one person. And then after that, I got a phone call from the doctor's office for the hospital, not the doctor's office, the hospital, telling me that they had an appointment for me to go and see cardiology. Because for those that don't know, and I don't think I've mentioned it, I might have mentioned it on Facebook, but I went to the doctor's last Thursday, because on the 1st of February, while I was down visiting family, I ended up in hospital for several hours because I had severe chest pain, burning sensation, pain in the jaw, pain in the arm, and they've noticed that I was having a lot of PVCs and extra beats and missed beats that I shouldn't have been having in a very short space of time. And they recommended I see my GP as soon as possible. So I went to see the GP on Thursday. And my GP basically knows as well that I have a posterior mediastinal tumour or growth, which is fluid filled. It's showing signs of growth over a short period. And what I mean by that is I had a scan about this in September, and then I had another scan in November, and it had grown in a short space of time. So they wanted to rescan again in May this year, despite the fact that it's fluid filled and it's showing signs of growth. The A&E doctor asked, could it be what's causing my problems? And I said, he's the doctor, he tell me. And my GP actually asked whether or not who I was seeing for this particular mass that's growing. And I said the MRI scanner, because I haven't been designated a doctor or a consultant or a neurosurgeon or a thoracic surgeon or anything to do with this mass. They just know that it's there. They don't even know what it is. They have no diagnosis for it. So nobody knows what's going to go on with it. So she even thinks that it could be causing my heart issues, and she wants cardiology to at least rule that out. So she said to me, I'm not going to admit you today. This was Thursday. But I want you to basically be seen as soon as possible. And said that if I hadn't heard anything by the end of this week, or if I do hear something by the end of the week, let her know how I get on. So I just got a phone call this morning, and the earliest that they can fit me in for an urgent referral at my local hospital is on the 7th of April. So I took that because the other appointment was a little bit nearer time, but not by much. It was only nearer by about a week. And that was at a district hospital that was outside of where I live. And I can't travel very far because I can't leave the house alone. And I'd have to get my brother to take time out of work just to take me there, where my local hospital, I can just jump in a taxi. So I decided to go with the 7th of April. So when I got off the phone to them, I phoned my GP up to tell her what was going on, and I'm waiting for her to get back to me about it, because she didn't want... I think if she had her way, she would have admitted me last week to the hospital to be under investigation and at least find out what's going on with this mass that's growing in my back, and to see whether it was the cause of any of my heart issues. But she didn't admit me, and now obviously they're going to wait until April before they see me, and I'm due to go for my next scan in May when it comes to my tumour. So I'm going to call it a tumour because we don't know what it is, and although it's fluid filled, it could still be a tumour, so I'm going to call it that. They don't think it's cancerous, which is very good, but it's still a tumour nonetheless. So I don't know whether she wants me to be admitted to hospital this week or whether she wants me to wait until my appointment in April. I'm waiting for her to get back to me. I've phoned the office. I've left a task for her that's urgent so that she can let me know what she wants me to do. Chances are, I'm hoping... Part of me is hoping that I don't have to be admitted. Another part of me is hoping that I do. The part of me that's hoping that I don't is because the children are still at school, so they don't break up until Friday. My brother's still got to go to work. They're off school next week, which means there'll be no one to look after them if I'm in hospital, unless my brother takes time out of work, and I really don't want to bothering him about that. So I might end up having to get my mum up to basically look after them, or send them down to to the other end of the country to stay with them, because I can't have them here if I'm in hospital, because Phil has to work, and I can't expect his work to get him to have so much time off, because that would be unfair. But I'm hoping that if they do admit me, that it's quick and it's a case of do a few tests, a few scans, designate me with a doctor to talk about what's going on with my back and my growth in my chest, and come up with some sort of plan, and then take it from there, and then I can come home on a plan. Because there's no, apart from my heart giving me extra beats and missing beats and being breathless a lot, there's not really much wrong with me. So, other than obviously my joint pains and stuff like that. So, I need to hopefully get this sorted as soon as possible. Plus, on the plus side, if they admit me, it means that they might sort my mass out sooner, and it means they might operate on it sooner, which means that I can get it sorted out as quickly as possible, and then I'm still possibly able to go on my holiday, which would be really, really good. Because right now it's up in the air whether I can even fly with this particular growth. All bets are on whether or not it's still growing, whether it's still there, or it could have even shrunk and disappeared. I don't know. But they don't know what it is, and they don't know what fluid is in it. It could be cerebral fluid, which is your spinal fluid. It could be water. It could be blood. It could be gungy stuff. They don't know what fluid is in it. So, and they don't know what it is. They just say that it's a fluid-filled mass. It's probably a lymphatic cyst or a mediastinal cyst. Sorry, not a mediastinal cyst. A neurogenic cyst, or neuroenteric cyst. And they don't think it's anything too sinister, but it is growing. So I don't know what's going to go on. I'm just waiting for the doctor to call. So if I end up abruptly ending this video, you know why. It's because my doctor's calling. But I will come back on and tell you what they said. So yeah, at the moment, I'm waiting for a doctor's a doctor's phone call to tell me what to do, and whether or not I need to be admitted to hospital, and if they have a bed and so on. And if I do, I will blog while I'm in hospital, and I will let you know what's going on. But apart from that, that's pretty much my day. However, Molly does have her pain clinic appointment now for Sheffield, which is really, really good. I think I've already said that, but I'm glad that she's got that. So that's another thing to look forward to. And then obviously next week she has her hospital appointment for her kidneys. We were told to cancel this appointment, but she's still leaking blood in her urine, so I don't want to cancel it, and the doctor's office has told me not to cancel it because of the fact that there has to be a reason why she's still leaking blood in her urine. So we're still going to go, and hopefully the doctor at the hospital hasn't cancelled it. So fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll get some answers. But when we do, I will let you know. But yeah, Malton next week, possibly hospital admission for me, and a doctor's call to tell me what's going on. But as soon as I know what's going on with this mediastinal tumour I've got, I will let you all know. But right now, I don't know. And if I get into genetic testing, again, I will let you know. However, if Sheffield, again, like I said before, if Sheffield do come back to think that Molly has got EDS and this is what's causing all her issues, like the GP thinks, then we'll be at a better chance of getting genetic testing because she's my daughter. And I've got hypermobility anyway. So it'll be really good to try and get the genetic testing, but they're very busy down there, so I'm not sure whether they'll do it, but I'll keep fighting because EDS is all about the fight and it's all about the awareness, and that's why I'm doing this. So thank you to those that have subscribed to my channel already, and I hope you like and keep following this journey. And yeah, I'll be back on soon. I hope you all have done a nice rest of a Wednesday afternoon. And I think us lot are going to be bracing ourselves in order for this new storm that's about to hit us in the UK. We've just had Storm Kara or something, and that's only just easing off. And then we've got Storm Dennis coming in this weekend. So our river's already really flooded. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that storm. Hopefully it keeps the snow away. But anyway, have a nice day, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye!